Now another player I want to talk about is Kai Havertz, who got the winning goal. We could hear it here in the studio down at the Emirates. Big goal for Kai Havertz. The reason I want to talk about him today is because I think for the first time it's starting to really click. Now some of you might be in the comments going, it was obvious, James, we could see this before, we learnt this 2 months ago, why are you so slow? You can always see where players are standing, you get an idea for what they're trying to do. But for the first time I'm actually starting to see it work. Now, understanding Kai Havertz, if we just sort of move Brighton into some sort of defensive position, I'm sort of making it up a little bit, guys, but what I really want to show is Arsenal, because here's what we saw last season, and you've all heard it, it's probably the 100th time you've heard it on this show now. We talk about Ødegaard in that channel, Xhaka would be in that channel, Rice would be supported by, not Rice would be Partey last season, but Zinchenko would come in, and there you go, that's the build-up roughly, you get the idea. But the thing I'm noticing about Kai Havertz is it used to be that if Zinny didn't come inside, Xhaka would be that little bit deeper and build up, Jesus would be a bit nearer. What we're seeing is Ødegaard getting a lot more of a playmaking role. We've talked about him looking like an 8. We talked about it after the Wolves game. I think there's evidence of that in the Luton win as well. And Havertz is starting to stroll basically into this striking position. Now he's still there to receive it at times, but he's often also moving on to the last man. So Jesus can maybe drift into that area, or Martinelli can drift inside a little bit. And there's the only evidence I can put forward to Havertz in his very unique role, which is basically, we were joking, don't take this too seriously, but we were joking saying he's like, if a false 9 is a striker who drops in, he's a false 10, because he's sort of, you see him as a midfielder on paper, but actually he's moving further forward and he's expected to be on the end of things. So I've got a couple of things I want to show everyone here. Firstly, his SofaScore heat map, which you can see on screen now. He's playing, I mean, that's a left winger's heat map. He is right on the touchline there in that left channel. Then I'll show you by who scored Havertz's touches. Well, 4 of them are shots in the box, and quite a lot of them are in central pockets. I mean, yeah, most of them out to the left, but gets into central pockets as well. And then I go to SofaScore's average position, and you can see that number 29 and number 9, they're actually touching. They're very close, Jesus and Havertz, because where Rice and Ødegaard are roughly where I'd expect them to be, Havertz is actually quite close to the forward line. And where I saw this really come to life is with his goal. Now, a lot happens. Trossard does some great work to get himself into this area, and Ødegaard drifts inside as well, so that he can receive that cutting pass through the lines. They've worked Brighton really well. But as this move develops, we've got to remember, we're 1-0 down. We're holding on to something. Sorry, yeah. 1-0 up. Must remember that. We were 1-0 up. We have something to hold on to. Yeah. So really, your 6'4" central midfielder, who, has been doing quite a lot of good defensive work, should maybe be there to keep things covered. But no, he's the highest up the pitch. Ødegaard has recognised that there's an opportunity to come and facilitate the build-up. And Eddie's dropped into that space. And that is feeding into the whole average position we were showing of Jesus and Havertz, where they're actually quite close, because I think there's a recognition that if someone's going to drop into build-up, which our striker always does, then Havertz can cause havoc by being on that front line, and no one quite knows who should be picking him up. So I'm going to show it in slow motion. When Trossard plays this really lovely ball into Ødegaard, who takes a quick touch for Rodding into Eddie, Havertz, that's a striker's run. That's a 10's pass into a striker's run, except it's a striker delivering it to our central midfielder, and Havertz puts it in the back of the net. And I find it really interesting that in so many ways he is on paper a central midfielder, and we're going to talk about him out of possession in a second, because it's a totally different job he does there. But in possession, you're not really expecting him to do so much, because it's actually about being a finisher, not a facilitator and a creator. And just before I bring you in on this, Graham, because I really want to get your thoughts on all this, I've got a load of screenshots here. I'm going to show you. This is from FBref. Some of these numbers look poor. FBref passing numbers, look at his ranking for passing numbers, not great, a lot of red and grey on the board, not very much green. Again for pass types, although right up there for passes blocked. Again for goal and shot creating actions, not that great. And then you look at possession as well, not a lot there. By the way, hit the pause button if you want to look at these properly, but there's not that much. But what do you see there? You see touches in the attacking penalty area, 5.9 per 90 in the 98th percentile. He's also up there for carries into the penalty area, and he's also also up there for progressive passes received, because he's on the end of things. He's about impacting the final third, whether he's doing it as a 9 or whether he's doing it from midfield. And then we go into a shooting stats via FBref, and they go right up for goals per 90, goals and shots on target per 90, penalty kicks attempted, expected goals, non-penalty expected goals, all there. He's up there. And by the way, he's also in the 95th percentile for aerial duels 1 per 90. So he's a midfielder, but he's got a totally different role to anything I've ever seen any midfielder have to do.
I think it's the role that I think that Arteta always envisaged for him, to be fair. And I think that I've noticed over the last few weeks, I think that's 4 goals now in his last 7 appearances for the club. He's gaining in confidence in this role. And I think he brings that physicality, a striker's instinct. He can get into the box. So he's a combination of almost like a midfielder and a striker, almost like a hybrid player. Another of these Arteta hybrid sort of players, you could argue. What I love about that goal, before I go back to Kai Havertz, let's go back, is what I love about this is, first of all, Trossard, just for a split second, I thought he was playing for Brighton, because he started heading towards our goal. And then he reverses it into Martin Odegaard, and a really clever pass from Odegaard. But the pass that makes the goal for me,
let's get Eddie into that position.
Eddie Nketiah. Because Eddie's been criticised a lot this season for maybe making the wrong pass or the wrong decision. He gets that absolutely spot on. It's the right pass, it's the right weight, and he plays it into Kai Havertz. He takes it on his left side as he moves in, and I didn't doubt that he was going to put that away. He dinks it, almost dinks it over the goalkeeper.
It's a nice little lift to make sure that the goalkeeper's stretched leg can't
and it was a great goal. I think Havertz is now finding his place in the team. This is very much what Arteta envisaged for him. And that pass from Eddie, I thought, made the goal. We haven't mentioned, I just want to give credit while we're on it, a pass from Martin Odegaard in the first half, off the outside of his foot into Saka's feet, into his space to move on to, was an absolutely world-class pass.
It was.
But Havertz, this is now, he's starting to find his feet in this team. And he's almost, when Jesus drops in now, we've almost got that forward to attack the box.
I completely agree. Now, I just want to again just show the 11s. We talked about the press being brilliant, but for someone who's got such a unique role, this is why I say I don't know a midfielder that does what Havertz does. Now, I've been balanced and showing everyone the FBref stats for people who aren't convinced by him. I understand why you're not convinced by him. The numbers don't look good. The numbers actually support your eyes. But he's very good at what Arteta seems to want him for, which is you're the finisher. You're on the end of things. And there are moments where Arsenal have to drop into a shape like this, and Jesus is there, and Odegaard can press. Now, sometimes Havertz does, will join the forward line, Odegaard will drop deeper, but they're using his physicality as well, just to add. I mean, that's 6'2", 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", down the centre of the pitch, and it's just like, play through us. And then you see, again, via his FBref numbers, that his tackles in the middle third of the pitch here are very good, Havertz, because he knows how to engage. He's actually doing the defensive work quite well. He's winning headers in these areas. He's winning second balls. It's such an extraordinary, it's like Arteta has said to him, right, Havertz, you're going to be very good when we don't have the ball. You're going to be very good when you don't have the ball. So when everyone else has it, you make the runs and create the space and get on the end of things. And when they have it, you win the ball back and be in positions to stop them playing. But when you have the ball, keep it simple. Just give it and move. I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you playing the through balls that Odegaard played that were brilliant. I don't want you, spamming cross into the box. I don't want you trying to drive past a load of players. If you can, great. But it's almost like you just be the genius off the ball. And if he is, and if he becomes that, we'll see. We've got a long way to go. He's only just recently in the last month found this improved form. But it's so unique. I've never seen Arteta use a player like the way he's using Kai Havertz. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.